Welcome in, friends, man. In this video, I am so stoked to share with you about the experience my brother and I recently had, the awesome opportunity we had to meet Stryper after 40 years of fandom.
Rocking you up for Jesus Christ with classic style hard rock music and practical Bible teaching.
Around March of this year, 2024, my brother and I are talking on the phone. I live in Tennessee. He lives up in Indiana, where I grew up in my hometown of Anderson, which is just outside of Indy, and that's key to this story. Invariably, music comes up. It always does. Stryper comes up because they are just the best of the old school bands that we grew up with who love Jesus, man. And so we're talking about them. Brent says, hey, man, Stryper's coming to Indianapolis. They're coming to the Vogue on this acoustic tour. We ought to go see them. I said, awesome. Let's do it, man. The date that they were going to be at the Vogue was June 16th. Which is significant because my brother's birthday is June 15th. And then Brent kind of slickly drops into the conversation.
Dude, it sure would be an awesome birthday present to do V.I.P and meet the band.
I was like, I don't know. It's a little bit more than I want to spend. But then the more I thought about it, it's like, dude, I don't know how much longer these guys are going to be around. And all of the, just memories of how much we've loved and followed them just kind of swelled up in our heart. And I said, all right, man, let's do it. So we purchased the V.I.P package and circled June 16th on our calendar. Between the moment that we purchased those tickets and the start of the tour, we learned that Oz was having another issue with his brain tumor and that he was going to have another surgery and he wasn't going to be able to participate in the tour. Well, of course, we were bummed, but I was like, dude, it's all right, man. We're going to pray for Oz and we're going to meet Robert and Perry and Michael and we're going to have a good time. And I also dropped in there, hey, man, this gives us an excuse to do this again and meet Oz when he recovers, right? So the weekend of June 16th arrives. It was on a Sunday. Kelly and I pulled out from our driveway here in Cookeville, Tennessee and headed up to Anderson. My mother actually lives up there as well, so we were going to visit her as part of this trip. When Sunday morning arrived, we woke up and, I'm a pastor, and so Sunday morning is just so much of my routine is church and being with the body. God is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
God is good.
It felt a little weird to not have some place that we knew we were going to go to, and we actually settled on listening to Charles Stanley.
Let me ask you a question. Is there any consequence of your obedience God can't handle?
He was awesome that morning, by the way. Headed over to Mom's, hung out with her a little bit. Brent arrived around 1 o'clock, and we took off for Indy. Everything about this trip was just golden. The drive was as easy peasy as it could be. We went straight down 69 to 62nd Street, hung a right, went down the road a little bit, found a parking garage directly across from the Vogue. We pulled into the parking garage. It was a Sunday. There were almost no cars in the place, had our pick of the lot, parked the car, and walked like 36 steps across to the Vogue. Okay, we are approaching the Vogue, my brother. Say hey, man.
Hey, man.
Super excited about this V.I.P experience, so we'll see what happens. I'm just going to try to take some videos along the way and see what we can catch. We had a little bit of time to kill. The doors for the V.I.P experience weren't set to be open until 4:30. So we walked down through, this is Broad Ripple, a neighborhood in Indianapolis. We walked down the street a little bit and found a really cool bar and grill, went in and had some lunch, just had a good time doing brotherhood, talking about life. Then we walked back out and just 50 yards right back over to the Vogue. By this point, there were several people in line, ended up being between, I'd say close to 40 people who had purchased the V.I.P package. And you've heard me say in other videos, man, when metalheads connect with other metalheads, whether we know each other's names or have ever met before or not, and especially when you add to the mix Christian metalheads, you instantly begin to connect. One of the things that I noticed in the line talking with some of these people is the reality that Stryper draws a different crowd than any other Christian metal band I've ever seen. I'm fired up about going to Immortal Fest, man. Matter of fact, right here's the link. You got to check it out. I hope to see you there.
Hello, metal family. So I'm excited for the next Immortal Fest. Such great bands, such great people. I hope you're going to be one of them.
But Immortal Fest is predominantly Christian metalheads, which I think is awesome because there's a lot of great fellowship that happens at that experience in addition to seeing all the amazing bands. Stryper, because their whole career has been focused not on going to the Christian crowd, but playing wherever in the world, singing about Jesus. They've developed a fan base, some of whom may be Christians, but many of whom aren't. And honestly, I mean that in nothing but positive way. I'm so glad that Stryper has developed that kind of outreach and connection with this broad fan base. It actually inspires me. We're called to get out of our cocoon. We're called to take the gospel to the world. So anyway, I'll get off my preacher soapbox on that, okay? It was just really cool to connect with people and talk with them. Shortly after 4:30, the doors opened, and first off, we were just fired up because this swath of just cold, refrigerated, air-conditioned air came out. It was a really hot, sunny day, and we're like, oh, I can't wait to get in there. And Lisa came out. I didn't know it was Lisa at the time, Michael Sweet's wife. And she reminded me of my Aunt Doris and my wife rolled into one person. She was just sweetness personified. She was just like, oh, we're so glad you're here. We really appreciate you coming out. It was Father's Day. She's like, oh, I appreciate you giving up your Father's Day, and we're just so blessed to have you. Thank you for supporting us. Just being this super gracious host. And so she checked us in. She had this clipboard, and she had everybody's name that had purchased the VIP tickets. She checked us in. We went in just to the kind of the entryway, and we all circled up. And Lisa kind of gathered us around, and she just continued to thank us and welcome us and introduce us to the experience. And she pulled out this little bag, okay? And I got it right down here. It's borderline just a little bit kind of like cheesy, but who cares? You're a fan, and it was really cool, okay? So I'll put this up here where you can kind of, just a little Stryper bag, right? Just a little cloth bag, and then it's got a bunch of goodies in it. And I hate that my mic's like right there, but, I'll hold it over here. Anyway, the first thing that was in it was this little lanyard, which, of course, was kind of our VIP pass. And here's, I'll let you see if I can hold it up there close enough for you to get a good view of that. Just has a picture of the band, says meet and greet on it. Very cool. All right. And then, let me see what else is in here, because I honestly haven't really looked at it that much. I just kind of sat it down. There were pictures in the bag. Trying to figure out where to put all this stuff on my podium here. This was a cool picture. I wasn't sure what I was going to have for them to sign. I knew I wanted them to sign something, and I just trusted them to have something, which they did, which was really cool. Okay, so here's this picture of the band, and I think you can see all the signatures there at the bottom. What's wild is if you look really close, you can read Robert, or at least see the R and maybe the S, right? Michael's is in the middle, and it's just like, you can't even hardly read that. But anyway, it was just a really cool thing. And here's how that went down. We all lined up. They put up a table right in front of the stage. And you'll see some pictures here in a moment. So they had the Stryper logo all lit up. The stage was lit up. And they put a table down on the floor right in front of that. And then the band came out, and we're like, oh, yeah, and they lined up. And it was Robert, and then Perry, and then Michael. And we lined up, and we all had a chance to kind of go down the table and greet them. And they sat and signed things and talked to us. So I don't know about you, okay? I'm going to kind of be geeky here, but you grow up as a teenager loving these guys. Got a huge poster of them over here on my wall. I'm 58 years old, and I got a picture of a hair metal band on my wall because Stryper's always meant a lot to me. So I get to Robert, and it's like, there he is, man. He's like right there. And here's the deal. When you meet your quote unquote heroes, the people that you've kind of just admired and have played that big role in your life, there's about 5 million ways it could go wrong, right? Because you kind of have a sense of who they are, and you hope that they're going to be that. They were. And I'm so glad to be able to say that. Robert was so warm and kind and engaging. I mean, he would like reach out, grab your hand and say, hey, man, we're so glad you guys came out. So nice to meet you. All these kind of just real gracious expressions. He looked me in the eye, listened, I shared with him. It doesn't matter what I said. I just kind of reminisced and said, I missed you guys in the day. Loved you in the 80s, had all your stuff, but never got to see you live. And then told him that I started my experience as far as seeing them live with their reunion in like the very, very early 2000s before they put any albums out. They played at the House of Blues in Chicago. And anyway, I just shared that with him. And it was real. It didn't feel fake. It didn't feel like, I got somewhere else to be here. It was just, he was with me. It was really cool. I loved that. Okay. And if I'm geeking out a little bit, sorry. And then I moved over to Perry, and Perry's awesome. Super gracious, super chill. Don't have the history with Perry, but I just said, God bless you, man. So good to meet you. And it was just this kind of brief exchange, and that was very sweet. And then I got to Michael. Michael is very different than his brother. Okay, Michael, first off, he was the only one that was standing. The other two were sitting. And Michael, I noticed this. I don't know what, it doesn't mean anything. It was just a difference. Where Robert was patting you on the shoulder and shaking your hand, holding your hand, saying, hey, brother, so glad to meet you and all that. Michael was kind of fist bumping everybody. But he was also very warm, very engaging, very eye contact, very listening. Shared with him a little bit about how I discovered Stryper, thanked them for coming into my world and being a blessing, all those good things. And then I noticed that he was signing the picture that I showed you a moment ago, left-handed. And I was like, dude, I didn't know you were a lefty. He goes, I only write left-handed. I do everything else right-handed, which really struck me because there's a really cool backstory here, okay? My brother and I are mirrors of each other. I write left-handed and I eat left-handed and I do everything else right-handed. My brother eats right-handed and writes right-handed and does everything else left-handed. We're like opposites. I should have asked Robert about this. I'd like to know if this played out in their family. I said, do you eat left-handed? He goes, yeah, actually, I do. Those are the only two things I do left-handed. And I was just like, again, call it geekiness, whatever. I was like, oh, that's cool. I got something in common with Michael here. But then I shared with him about how I discovered them in the mid-'80s on the White EP, the album with Winter Wonderland on it. And anyway, I just got to say the things that I wanted to say, and it was really cool and enjoyed it so much. After everyone went through that line and had a moment to interact with the band, we lined up again and we got to do pictures with them. And here's the picture that my brother and I got with the band. Again, I'm standing between Robert and Michael. Notice, of course, Michael's kind of got his hands to himself. Michael was just a little bit more reserved. Robert instantly put his arm around me, pulled me in, like, hey man, you're my bud. Not being critical at all. It was just something I noticed, the difference between the brothers. To round this out, I'll pull out the rest of the goodies in the Stryper bag here, okay? Let's see what we got. Honestly, I haven't even looked at this. So I remember that that's Oz's wife, Lisa went through it, right? So I remember her mentioning this. There's a fan, right? Which was really actually worth having on that day because it was really hot. It's actually like an SG guitar, right? Can you see that? It says Stryper on it, and of course it's signed on the back as well. Just putting that up there. Kind of cool. Fans for fans. Then we have, what else we got in here? All right. I don't know whether this is going to ever be useful, but it's kind of a cool thing to have. We have a Stryper little mini Frisbee. Woohoo! Kind of fun. What else is in here? Oh, is this like a cozy or like a cooler thing for your cup, right? So it's got like the opening there. You can put your cup in. It says Stryper on it. I don't know if I'll ever use that or not. I might just have to use that just for fun. Just want to get that close enough you can see the Stryper logo on there. Pretty cool. All right, what else is in here? There was like one other. Okay, yeah, just this one other thing. Dude, you know what this reminded me of? This is wild. This took me back to the 80s. I don't know if this was the case when you were growing up, if you grew up in the 80s, but when I was a kid, everybody had Levi's jean jackets. And they would load their jean jackets up with these little bottle cap pins, right? This is still in the plastic. But of course, it says Stryper on it. I'll try to pull the plastic tight so you can see it. It's just, I don't even know if you'll be able to see that or not. But anyway, it's just a little Stryper bottle cap pin. And if I still had a jean jacket, I could pin it on there and be cool. But I think it's probably just going to go in a little drawer somewhere, right? Okay, then after everybody got their pictures, the band, said, hey, thank you for coming. We'll see. It's going to be a great show. And they went back to their dressing area. And we were free to just kind of hang out, do whatever we wanted, and go to the merch table. And that's where I got my shirt, right? Notice that Stryper is very much a family deal now. Michael's daughter was working the merch table, and Lisa was, overseeing or emceeing and hosting the VIP experience. And it was kind of right after we got pictures that it dawned on us. It was at that moment, it's like, hey, that's Michael's wife. She introduced herself and looked that out. And I was like, well, that's cool. And so Brent and I said, hey, Lisa, can we get a picture with you? And so we got together and took a little selfie, and it was super cool. And this is, again, where she reminded me so much of my Aunt Doris and my wife. She was like, oh, yeah, you don't really want a picture with me? Just kind of that downplaying thing. And as soon as we took the picture, she's like, it'll probably turn out terrible. You can delete it. Just so much like some really dear ladies in my life who would say the same kind of thing, funny. And then with all of the VIP thing behind us, it was time to kind of focus on the show. Now, because we got there so early, we were like on the stage. Like I was leaning on the barricade little deal between the stage. I could like reach out and touch the stage. It was very cool. Very close right there, right? And while we were standing up there, of course, Brent and I took an opportunity to take a selfie with the Stryper logo in the background. And now from this point forward in the video, I'm going to be quiet and I'm just going to let clips from the evening carry the video to the end. Dude, in all my excitement about Stryper, I completely forgot to mention Will Dowdy. Will is an incredible musician out of Nashville who filled in for Oz. He didn't play guitar, he played keyboards. And he was able to add so many cool sounds to the overall soundscape, fill in a lot of gaps and make it sound full. Some harmonies, did a great job with it. Michael's going to introduce him in one of the clips. So I just wanted to give Will credit and thank you for filling in, brother. You did an awesome job. I've edited this down to make it a little bit more concise, but I hope this will give you a good sense of what that acoustic show was like at the Vogue on June the 16th. Very cool experience, right from the front row. Enjoy this.
Back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
Very beginning.
Love it.
We made our own clothes back in those days. We made our own hairspray. We couldn't afford anything. So we made everything. Taped our guitars, taped our drums, our chords, you name it. Everything was self-made. And that's what it takes, man. You gotta be willing to do all that stuff, right? If you wanna pursue something like that. So we were willing to do that, obviously. Now you can't get us to make anything. Those days are gone. Long gone. We just sit around and we expect everybody to make everything for us. Will, how you doing back there, man?
I got my cold pop down here good.
What you got? You got Coke?
No, Sprite tonight.
I made a joke the other night. I said, man, Will's putting us out of business with all the Coke we gotta buy him. And then he goes, Coca-Cola. Because the whole crowd.
It is rock and roll, you gotta clarify.
Yes?
Yes.
Now, how many of you have seen Stryper before? Anybody here? Okay, a lot of you. Who's never seen this before? Yeah, dude. You mentioned that earlier. And I didn't say this that I always say every night. And I'm just curious, not picking on you or anything. Why did you wait to come see us acoustically? 40 years later. What's going on? Your wife saw us though, right? You just never had the chance?
Never came close.
I got it. I get it. That is tricky, right, man?
Sensitive ears.
Oh, man, I get it. I totally understand, man. I don't know if I'd drive more than an hour to see a band. I really don't. How far did you drive?
I came to your weekend down in Nashville, and I did bowling group at Seaton.
You came to our trucking weekend? I got you, man.
How's Oz doing?
He's doing good, man. He's doing good. He's doing good. Oh, man. So, you guys, we've got all kinds of cool stuff going on. Believe it or not, we were supposed to get vinyl and CDs of this new album, and something happened. I don't know if they got lost along the way or what. They got shipped late. I don't know. But you know what we got? We got cassettes. Now, the problem with that is most people don't have cassette players. Right? Who has a cassette player? Anybody? Oh, man. You guys are shocking me.
This is selling these clothes.
Half the crowd has cassette players?
Wow.
Really? Okay, so is that a thing still? Well, we made it a thing. We offered cassettes. We got cassettes. So if you guys go back, say hi. My daughter is selling our merch, Lena. Go back and say hi to her later tonight. Pick up a cassette if you can or if you want, and play it. Check it out. We're really excited about this album, man, this acoustic album. So God bless you guys. Let's try this one. This one always makes me sweat way more than I am sweating in the moment. This is called Loud and Clear. Another one not meant to be played on acoustic guitar. So, does anyone here miss the 80s? The 80s had some great bands, right? Great bands, and great guitar players. So many great guitar players, great singers, great songs. And I miss that. I really do. I know you find great bands and great songs still to this day, but it just seemed to have more of that in the 80s. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I miss that. And this song right here in the 80s, in 86, came out off of an album called To Hell with the Devil. And it went all the way to #1 on MTV, back when MTV used to play music. They don't anymore.
Yeah, free.
Well, maybe on occasion. Right, Perry? Am I right about that, man?
I'm not sure. I hadn't watched it in a while.
Yeah, good.
Last time I watched MTV, they were showing like Andy Griffith or something.
He was whistling. That's
Maybe that was
music.
CMT.
It was CMT for sure.
Yeah, CMT.
But this song went all the way to #1 on MTV. Now, you guys, this is definitely a crowd participation song. I'd love to see everyone singing.
Yeah, free.
If you guys are up for it. Let's go back to 86. Have some fun here. In this joint, the Vogue. This is called Calling
On
On
You.
You.